Hey, everybody. I am excited to be here tonight. My name is Ryan Naylor. I am the CEO and founder of LocalWork.com, and welcome to my recording studio located I'm actually in Gilbert, Arizona, but I'm in my garage. It's probably a lot like you. You're stuck at home. You're trying to be a little bit creative and the new norm, the new way of working. So I'm here today, and I'm doing this as part of a collaborative effort with AZ Family, Channel 3, and CBS 5, as we are helping folks really for, I think it's 5 or 6 hours today at different times of the day. We're all jumping on and collaborating on how we can help Arizona job seekers get back to work faster. And I absolutely love this because I started this company during the crisis of 2008 and beyond. And I'll tell you what, the technology just is not, it wasn't where it is today. And I think it's so fascinating to see how the technology's evolved to really make things a little bit easier for us to share information, help people get back to work faster. Real quick, little quick history. LocalWork.com, we've helped over 100,000 people get back to work in Arizona alone, and that's happened in the last 6-7 years. We're super proud of that. We're very in tune with what employers are hiring for, what they're not hiring for, but most importantly is we help parlay that information just a little bit faster back to the job seeker, get them some jobs and some advice along the way. So without further ado, let me kind of go over the agenda for the next 15-20 minutes. We are going to talk about job search hacks. And what that means is I'm going to give you from the owner of a job board who has designed and built HR technology, recruiting software. I'm going to give you the inside access. I'm going to give you some inside tips and tricks on how to game the system a little bit, how you can kind of take advantage of the knowledge of an owner, a designer of an HR technology, and as a job seeker, how you can actually optimize your recruiting experience, getting recruited into a company. So if you have questions, drop them in the comments area. We've got a team, we're monitoring those, and we're going to address those questions as we go. If for any reason you're watching this after the live event, go ahead and put those questions in. We're going to circle back through and we'll tag you. And if we have to direct message you, we'll get you the answer what you're looking for. So we're going to jump right in. Tips and tricks, a little bit about how you can get a job faster, specifically in today's climate. One of the first things that I want to do is talk to you a little bit about your search strategy. When looking for work, you have to understand employers are under the gun. If they're posting a job right now, it's because they needed somebody yesterday. They've got a pain point and you need to address it. So keep that in mind as we talk through this, because a lot of the tips that I'm going to offer today are about how do you take advantage of the pain points the employers are facing to your benefit. So a lot of you are, I'm going to, of course, I'm a little bit biased. Let me actually just share my screen. I think it'll be a little bit easier to talk through some of this. So I'm obviously a little bit biased. LocalWork.com is our platform, but I'm not here to promote that, but what I am here to talk about is how you can utilize different job boards and optimize your experience in search. So I'm going to close this one and actually go to Indeed, because I think that's the one most people are familiar with, and it's probably where a bigger percentage of jobs are going to lie that you're going to be looking for. Now, I'm going to talk in generalities. I know that there's going to be some outliers that are watching this. Their situations might not be exactly what we're looking for. But let me show you some tips and tricks in today's climate on how you can optimize your job search experience. So if we were to type in an administrative assistant and just hit A, and there it was. Let's just put in Phoenix, Arizona as our city. We're going to hit find jobs. What's interesting is you're going to see right up here, the default is going to be sort by relevance. Now, a lot of these jobs are going to be super relevant because that's what it defaults to. Indeed's algorithm is outrageously sophisticated, but we probably want to focus on who's hiring right this second. Some of these jobs might have been posted 30 days ago before kind of the crisis, so to speak, or they've already got a pool of applicants and the job's just kind of lingering out there. So we want to default that to be by date. And we can do that in a couple different ways. There's an advanced job search link up here. A lot of people overlook this. I always recommend hit that advanced job search, because you can come back in and start adding in exact phrases that fit your kind of area of expertise. So let's think through administrative assistant, maybe the exact phrase, maybe you are proficient in using Salesforce. I'm going to put that in as an exact phrase, a keyword in the job description that I want to, it's a tool or technology that I want to be better at. It's something that I want to be part of, but none of these words, maybe I don't want to do anything to do with QuickBooks. I don't like billing. I don't like accounting. Don't want the responsibility on my shoulders. So you can actually kind of get some of those out. I think this is a great way for you to get a little bit sharper on exactly what you're looking for. Helps you apply to jobs that are more relevant to you, you're passionate about. You're going to feel more confident in applying to them. The other thing is you might want to adjust that it defaults to 25 miles. If you're somebody that's not comfortable with driving more than, 25 miles in Phoenix, that could be an hour drive each way. So you got, especially if it's an 8 to 5 thing, and you're right in the middle of the commute. So you might want to jump in and change that. Maybe you want to do the 15 miles, and then get very specific on the zip code. Phoenix can be a lot of different things. It covers a big geographic area. So you can definitely sort that. And then I like to display a little bit more jobs on each page, and then I sort it. And here we go. So you're seeing, I think see our filtration system here worked pretty good, because it only got us 3 jobs specifically because we're trying to narrow some things out. But we can go back in here and we can see essential job functions. And I'm assuming Salesforce is going to be here somewhere. But what I'm a good job description, because they're very, very clear on exactly what the functions are of the job. This is your secret sauce. What a lot of people don't realize is right here, this is considered keyword relevancy. A lot of these companies, especially when it says apply on company site, let's just do this. I haven't looked at this job. Let's take a look at it. So this is going to be on a Taleo platform. Taleo is an applicant tracking system. So I'm going to give you, probably going to go good, but I'm going to give you some insider access. Taleo is an applicant tracking system. They're one of the largest in the entire world. Big corporations tend to utilize it. It's very sophisticated, very expensive, but it's for companies that have a lot of job openings and they have a lot of people in the organization posting the jobs and managing the workflow. The thing about this is some of these applicant tracking systems are actually looking for keyword relevancy of the job description to the resume. So if you know that ahead of time, you can actually, I'm going to close this and come back to it. You can actually go into your resume, and I loaded up just a sample resume here in a Google Doc, but you can come into your summary section. Some people call it objective. It depends who you talk to. Some people hate the summary section. I happen to like it. I'm talking from a technology standpoint, but you can rephrase your 3 or 4 sentence introduction about you to incorporate some of the keywords. If you have experience with SharePoint calendar, great, drop it in your summary. Administrative assistant with 10 years experience, proficient in SharePoint calendar, proficient in some of these other functions. And you'd be amazed that your relevancy score of your resume, because those keywords are up high in your resume, it matches the job description. And in these applicant tracking systems, it can automatically, algorithmically tell you how relevant this candidate is to your job. You're going to make the cut, meaning they're going to read your resume. Now, 3 weeks ago, employers read every resume. And unfortunately, I have to give you some honest insight here. Recruiters can't read every resume right now. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of resumes per job because the unemployment rate hit so hard, so fast. So these tips are to help you stand out from the crowd. It's going to help you get a job a little bit faster, because you can't get a job if they never read your resume, and they won't read your resume if it's not relevant. I hope that makes sense. We're trying to make sure that your resume is relevant to the job. So what I would do is I'd come in here and I would rewrite some of my summary, some of those keywords or phrases around those keywords that I'm seeing in the job posting. And it's pretty simple. I would then save this. This is free. It's Google Docs. If you don't have a Gmail account, just go create one. It's free. It takes 30 seconds. and you get a free kind of Word document platform. But here's what's nice is you can come into File and hit Make a Copy. And you're going to copy it, and you can create a folder called Resumes, maybe, and put in the date. And you're keeping track of all the different resumes every single day that you apply. So you've got a bank of jobs, or you can modify your resume in short time. You keep a copy of it for your records, and then you have a template to work off of to keep applying to other jobs, because you can quickly apply on the company website, and it's going to ask you to upload your resume. All you're going to do is export this resume as a PDF, download this as a PDF right here, and now you've got a copy of it. So that's probably a little bit more sophisticated from a technology standpoint. But let me continue on. Since I've got a sample resume in front of me, I want to dive through that just a little bit, because I think it's very relevant to what a lot of people are seeing. There's a lot of folks that haven't had to use a resume in a number of years, and maybe since the last recession. But let me tell you, it's got to be flawless. It's got to be one page. Stop with the 3-page, 4-page. Stop. I can tell you, I look at the analytics, I look at the data. Recruiters are not reading your resume. If you have more than one page, they don't read it, they don't care. And it probably gets thrown to the side. Let's just get right to it. They care about, now the sample, a sample is like 2 pages here, but it's because I haven't optimized any of the font size or the text. It's just kind of a boilerplate. But here's one of my recommendations. Get rid of, if you have your address, get it out. You don't need it. In fact, and this is probably a topic for another day, but there's a lot of fraud that's happening, and they can steal your identity right there. We don't want that. Get your address out of your resume. Leave your phone number. Add, make sure you have your email address. Phone number and email address. Boom. That's the only 2 ways they're going to contact you. You don't need anything more than that. If you're located in a different city for any reason, if you're located, say you're over in Michigan and you're coming to Arizona, maybe you want to put in kind of the city state of where you're going to be residing, give them a sense of confidence. You're already kind of on your way. You've got plans to be there. This is for a job in that area. I'm okay with that. Again, as I'm going through this, just a quick reminder, feel free to drop in any questions. Anything that has to do with job search, maybe even some interview stuff. We did an interview video earlier today. Happy to answer questions around that. And then specifically around kind of resume formatting, how to see a little bit more insight about each company that you're wanting to apply to. So maybe some hacks around that. Feel free to ask any of those questions, and we'll dive into those here in just a little bit. Education, I always recommend dropping that to the end. You want the recruiter to assume you've already got the education necessary for that particular job. Get that to the bottom, because you want to get right into experience. Here's the biggest piece of advice that I can give you on a resume. Don't bullet point what you did. Bullet point the value that you offered. So let's look at this example. Again, I haven't even read this. It was just a template I found online. Provide ongoing administrative support to senior executives, driving organizational success through the management of daily operations and special projects. Now, if we look at that and think through that for just a little bit, what's the key thing that a recruiter is going to look for? They're going to look for the value you provided. The value here is organizational success. How you did it is daily operations and special projects. We want to emphasize the value, and we want to devalue the task. Does that make sense? Because a lot of the recruiters, they don't care your day-to-day tasks. They don't care, I picked up the phone 36 times. They want to care, I increased incoming phone call efficiencies by 26% by implementing XYZ. They want to see the value you created in the organization or in the job. They don't care about the specific task in which you did it. I hope that makes sense. It's definitely harder on your resume to put together, but I'll tell you, the people that do it the best, they get the interviews. They get the consideration for the job faster. So I highly recommend that. I usually say a maximum of 3 bullet points per job or job title. Sometimes you might be at an organization for a longer period of time, so you want to drop in maybe 2 or 3 different titles. That's fine. Keep the organization there, and then maybe just do another line item that shows there was a, maybe you transition departments, or you got a boost, a little bit of a bump there, and you got a promotional opportunity. That's fine. Lay that out. But again, talk about why. Talk about why was it, I improved this, led to X. Like, let them visualize, hey, that person is going to come into my company and they're going to grow. They're going to add value. They're going to get things a little bit deeper and a little bit bigger. So we're going to dive. So that's probably my second biggest piece of advice is keep it short and sweet, but biggest piece of advice, make sure you're talking about value on the resume. That I can't emphasize that enough. Now, as far as jobs go, my recommendation is focus on, because we're going to keep this to one page. We don't care about your life story. We're going to keep it to relevant jobs to the job we're applying for. Now, if you had a job in 1989 that was I don't even know. I'll say my first job. I worked in fields picking radishes as a kid. I'm sorry, but my employers today, if I were to go apply for some jobs, they don't care. They don't care about that. It has no relevancy to them. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to talk about how much Spanish I was able to learn, and I was able to go and I could pick radishes as good as anybody at 16 years old, and I was able to get bushels and bushels and bundles of radishes in a quick time. They don't care. It's not relevant to the job. It's not. So keep that in mind. Hey, we got a good question coming in. In fact, I got a couple of them coming in, but I saw this one was relevant to the resume. Jim asking, how do you recommend handling employment gaps? Jim, this is a constant debate, and it depends. I don't know what your situation is. I don't know what the gap looks like. If we're talking a matter of weeks or even months, my recommendation is, when you're talking about the time frame of the job, is rather than talking about February of 2018, maybe just be, winter 18 to fall of 2019. I mean, recruiters, they don't really care is if they can see there's some alignment. They understand they're humans too. They probably have a little bit of a gap in their own resume. Nobody's perfect. But if you're talking about multiple years, I've seen moms coming back to work that specifically say mom, and they'll put in there 13 years. And I ran a household and was efficient, kept everything super organized. I took pride in the fact that I was part of this association. I helped my kids. I volunteered at that. That's value. Showcase that. If you're talking about a gap of your employment, maybe there's a disability or an injury, I think that that's okay to address. I wouldn't give too many details, but I think if it helps tell the story a little bit clearer, that's fine. Your resume does one thing. It gets you to an interview. If you think that what you're going to put on the resume is going to create more questions than value, then get rid of it. But if you think that what you're going to put in there is going to add some clarity to minimize distractions, then add it. Hope that makes sense. Make sure your resume adds clarity to why you're a good fit, not create questions as to why you're not a good fit. I'm telling you, I'm watching the data right now. I'm seeing it on our website. I'm seeing it across the industry as a whole. We're seeing hundreds and hundreds of applicants per job posting. You've got to do what it takes to avoid distractions, avoid any sense of pause. If it gives pause on the resume, I would get rid of it. I hope that helps, Jim. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in at any time. I'm going to come back through and answer all of them at the end. But I think that it's, for the most part, the biggest points I want to talk to that have to do with the resume. Skills, I definitely think that this is a great thing to have on your resume. I probably wouldn't style it this way. I would even do it kind of comma format. I would just kind of get right into something like this. Little bit easier to fit from a spacing standpoint. Um, but I wouldn't list a bunch of bullet points out. Perfect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of what the follow-up experience looks like. When applying to the job, say we're going to go back into this one. What I recommend doing is get into the reviews area. Inside Indeed, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, a lot of these big employment sites have kind of corporate reviews and information. I highly recommend diving a little bit deeper into this area and looking for what people are talking about. And they're going to mention, well, these guys say they're corrupt. Maybe they're not the best employer, but you know, I would dive a little bit deeper and take the time to read through the reviews. You might learn some insights. There's going to be folks that come in here and they leave reviews talking about the hiring experience, because what happens is you have a lot of people that might apply to the job, go through the interview experience, and then not get offered the job. And it gets them mad. And they feel like they need to go vocalize their frustrations. And they go and they start leaving negative reviews on these employment sites. Now, the value for you is you get to learn the process a little bit. You get to see some of the insight. You get to see some of the anger that was kind of driven behind it, so you can avoid those pitfalls. But they might drop a name in there. They might drop a process. I applied to a job, heard back 3 months later. Whoa, that's a red flag. That means that that might not be an active position, or the recruiters are way behind. So I highly recommend take the time to go through the reviews, see if you can glean any insight and access into the job. The other thing is get onto their social media. A lot of times these companies, when they're hiring, they're going to be posting it on Instagram, Twitter, and their Facebook page. Get in there, see if they're adding any commentary or dialogue about it. And you can leave comments and say, just applied. I'm super excited for this position. Looking forward to hearing back. A lot of times the people that are posting that on social media are often the recruiters or hiring managers. They're going to see your profile picture from your Facebook, your LinkedIn, or whatever comment you're going to leave it on, and they're going to line the name and the picture back to your resume that you applied. What that does is it's kind of a little bit of a bait. It's getting them more familiar with who you are. It shows a level of excitement. If you watched my video earlier this morning, you will learn one big thing. Recruiters want to see passion. They want to see that you care about the job, that you want the job. You can do whatever it takes to be great at the job. So that little sense of just comment openly about, hey, I'm super excited about potentially working with, what a great company. Go in and like a couple of pictures, comment on them. Oh, that looks so much fun. Or that you see them volunteering at a food bank, or they're getting out in the community. Engage with that. Be social on social media. It makes a huge difference into the experience with the hiring managers. Hope that helps. I definitely have heard a lot of hacks in this, in going through the reviews. It can give people insights into the recruiting experience that can either help them with applying to the job, or can give you a lot of inside information to say, even if I got offered the job, I'm seeing enough information here, it's not the right fit for me. And it might save both parties a little bit of a headache if you can do that sooner than later. So let me go through a couple of the questions from a few different platforms coming in. Talk to me about job alerts. Now, good question. A lot of these platforms have job alerts. I think at the very beginning of this video, when we started doing Facebook Live, as soon as we typed in a specific job, there was some pop-ups that came in. With Indeed and ZipRecruiter, those are the two job alert systems that I recommend. You're going to get daily emails, and it's going to show you the newest jobs first in the resume. Now, having watched the data on my platform, I've seen literally tens of thousands of jobs posted through our site over the years. I can tell you the people who get the jobs, the people that work through the pipeline, and we can see the time to fill actually getting the job, are the applicants that apply within the first 15%. The first 15% of applicants almost historically get the jobs first. It's a nature of the beast. Get it in quickly. Don't look at a job and say, That looks really nice. I'm a little tired right now. I'll apply tomorrow. It's too late. It's too late. They probably already had 25 people by the time you get to it tomorrow apply, and they'll probably have another 50 to 100 within another 24 hours after that, after it starts getting picked up in all the feeds. So those alerts help because it gets you notified and gets you right to the top of the applicant pool. Take advantage of that. Get in front of them as quickly as you can. The other thing that I'd highly recommend, um, kind of in the job alerts, is to create multiple job alerts and then create Google alerts. A lot of people will get in. Where's this company we were just talking about? A lot of people get in there and they'll do a Google search about the organization. What you can do is actually come in and type in the word jobs, and then you can create an alert around this. And it's going to help you get a Google email every time, because Google for Jobs is now indexing the job feed. So this is based on feeds coming from LinkedIn, Glassdoor, all the different sites. So if you're wanting to follow an organization, they historically only post their jobs on LinkedIn, but you're looking on Indeed.com, you might miss out. So by creating a Google alert, and I believe, let's just double check here, alerts.google.com. See, I got a few in here. You just create an alert about the organization you want to do, create an alert, and it's going to start dropping you notifications once a day about any new information that's relevant to the keywords that you just put in. And that's going to pick up all the different feeds that their jobs might be coming in from. So you can even add a little bit more to this to give yourself some more relevancy along the way. So hopefully that helps. Again, thank you so much for jumping in. Tomorrow, if you're watching this later or even right now, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Arizona time, we're actually going to be going live with 5 employers who are hiring right now. Between the 5 employers, you have over 3,000 jobs for hire. Some massive companies are going to be joining me, and I get to ask them the tough questions. I get to get in and ask them questions that you want to know, but maybe you don't want to ask because it's a little uncomfortable as a job seeker from your side of the table. But we're going to get in and ask them some deep questions about their company culture, kind of what they're doing during the COVID crisis, how they're managing employee expectations, what they're doing. And I really hope that you can join us because you get some insider access basically into their hiring process. Last Friday, we do this every Friday at 10 a.m. Last Friday, we had an employer basically completely strip down the exact recruiting process, exactly what he's looking for on the resume, the exact questions he's asking during the interview process. Now, I already know several people got jobs with him. He called back to say, you got those guys prepared. Well, it's because they watched the Facebook Live. They got engaged with the video, and they were able to be fully prepared, have confidence, and get in there and get a job. So I hope that helps. Again, my name is Ryan with LocalWork.com. Feel free to jump in, ask questions, and we'll get back to them.